This is it.
Are you ready?
Ready. Good to go.
3, 2, 1.
Breaking news, Iran destroy USA radar.
Strike was a success.
Yabandaze ayihlalani phansi ke sandla phansi wethu abemi baseMelika bayangcancazela ngumsindo benjenje. Benjenje ngumsindo yeni nani makudanyaza eklasini kucaca ubani khona yeni nani abemi baseMelika bayangcancazela ngumsindo ndithi ke make intoni guys nangcancazela kuthiwa no Mindi kukho lento ngoku niyithethayo nililizwe nimane nisithi nonina into nokubana i-US started i-war because kaloku abakwaSirayeli bampontshwe ngulotata uNololozi Orange into yokubana baqale basende ilentoza ii-bombs pha my friend yabo so kuthiwa ke ngubathi ke ngokwabemi baseMelika no guys sanomane nisithi i-US ithani latata uNololozi Orange ndikamake kudala ndisitsho sithi ngulatata uNololozi Orange kudala ndixelela iklasi yam baligeza lanto ligeza lanto abemi baseMelika abantase bangumsindo nje bathi into abacaphukisayo yinto nokubana basebhizi zeza files zesijerere Epstein files basebhizi zeza files zikasijerere and ke ngoku kukho mos into entsha andikhavarishanga futhi apha eklasini kukho into entsha evelileyo kweza files zoba niyeke roba uyasinyela kukho entsha ke ngoku ekuthiwa into nokubana unguye nomdlwenguli yava egqibovela ivela I think last week kweza files zikasijerere so ke ngoku abemi baseMelika bebesamfunela leyo la tata uNololozi Orange bayemfondini hlala apha phantsi kusicacisele wena ngale nto yakho yoba kuthiwa wena uyadlwengula ithini into yakho wathi ho ndizayithini le nto wakrwela intloko ula tata uNololozi Orange wakrwela intloko wafonela ubhururu wakhe lo wanxanela imfazwe wathi bhururu wam masenze something ezawushukumisa abantu something ezawushift focus kulento ye-sex life yam ikhi-shift focus sikufocus kwenye into kwasha how about a war khelelekala mna how about i-war ndinixelele mna baqala ke ngoku bayovithiza i-Iran and ke ngoku bandase apha ibuhlungu khona even the head of military yapha kwela cala lala tata uNololozi Orange uthi lapho into nokubana guys kwamna bendingayazi lento and bendingayifuni lento ayonto bendizaveske ndiyivume awuveske nje uvela usikuvumbuluke oqaliwo into enjani leyo and ke ngoku sendisitsho nje because sesiphakathi kuyo I have to into nokubana ndiprotect i-country yam but bandase ndifuna niyazi nani into nokubana nyanyanyani ayiqalwanga yiMelika lento iqalwe ngulatata uNololozi Orange ndathi ngcono kwalo wethu ngcono kwalo andimthetheleli guys but ngcono kwayena kunelageza phofu ke bantase kuthiwa into nokubana barelaxile my friend phaa qho xa kumane kungena suphu ibhombu phaa kubo vela abuze my friend oyi-1 zingaphi kuthiwa hayi ibinye athi thumelani 5 ziye kwelaa cala. Yeni lani kuphinde kumiwe kuthiwe sibalinde ke bazaphendula ngezingaphi. Kutsho amba my friend baphendule nyani laa tata uNonolwazi Orange nobhururu wakhe baphendule ngezimbini. Papa zingaphi? Zimbini? Hayi thumela 25. Bantase ndinixelela unganixokisi mna kushubile. And ke ngoku laa tata uNonolwazi Orange ne as much as ebene-confidence, niyayazi mos i-confidence yegeza, as much as ebenalaa confidence yegeza esenayona ngoku ndithetha nani nje ubhizi kwi-press conference ngoku sithethayo, ubhizi kwi-press conference because uyabona ngoku into nokubana yeyi abantu bakhe abahlalisekanga and abantu bakhe bayayibona uba kushubile mos imfazwe nyhani iqalile. And ke ngoku unfortunately i-Iran, if i-Iran is responding, abazoresponda nje, abazoresponda nje ngemipu yala mapolisa lapha eSouth Africa, bazoresponda ngento fondini othi xa uyilahlele iblowe up isiti yonke. Kuthiwa i-Iran country njalo ke bantase, kuthiwa xa ifika ithi ithumela into powerful izawublowa up iJohannesburg yonke, phinde ithumele enye ithi Pretoria kuphele ngePretoria. Ndinixelela loo nto injalo mna ingathi ngoku isakhona yena i-confidence kwelaa geza, but ngoku uyayiva uba uyayibala into ayithethayo ngoku, uyayibala into ayithethayo because uyabona abantu asento nokubana kushubile, uyayibona into nokubana kushubile. And ke ngoku ezinye ii-countries zimjonge kanje, zimjonge ba uzukhulinde ulinge ondinyathele konsini uzawundazi. Ezinye ii-countries zimjonge, nathi simjonge kanjalo, simoyiki ngoku, besimoyike ekuseni, ngoku asimoyiki, asimoyiki ngoku. Not after i-Iran babonisile ba you are not as powerful as you think. When you think you are the president of the world, siza kuhambulisha and uzawuhambulishwa very hard. La tata uNonolwazi Orange. So bantu sendinibalisele into enjalo ke yobana sikuloo nto yobana i-Iran is responding and they are responding hard. They are responding hard. Kuthiwa kuthi kukho my friend omanye esithi at 25. Kuthiwa athi thumelani 25. Kuthiwa hayi wena Ali athi singahambisi 30. Kuthiwa hayi khawubayeke, khawubayeke baphefumle because siyile khatha sayaphi pipi ko-military base eyipipipi khawuba phumtyhi khe bathi uphefumla athi So inoba kasabazi ubuthongo laa tata uNonolwazi Orange, inoba kasabazi ubuthongo. Yabantase hayi hlalani phantsi sana, hlalani phantsi because i-world war iyeza. Hlalani phantsi because i-world war iyeza. Mna andiyazi sizaba yi-generation enjani loba zonke into ezifana zenzeka apha kuthi because kaloku ne-COVID guys yayidlalela apha entlokweni zethu. Sizaba yi-generation enjani thina? Yewethu hlalani phantsi nenze ezaa nto zenziwayo makudanyaze eklasini bethuna, zii-comments, zii-likes, zii-follow, bonakala siba nikhona apha eklasini bethuna, bonakalisani uba nikhona apha eklasini. Mamelani ke into eyenzekayo. Ndinibalisele ngosizolo uba ulo mntana laa tata uNonolwazi Orange uye wahamba wayothatha uNicholas eVenezuela. uNicholas ngupresident waseVenezuela. If awuyazi le nto ndithetha ngayo iya kwi-previous video yam. Wayomthatha phaa ngalaa ndlela amthathe ngayo wamse eNew York. So upresident waseVenezuela uvalelwe ngoku sithethayo eNew York. You understand? So ke ngoku into eyenzeka ke ngoku waza ke ngoku laa tata uNonolwazi Orange wazobhreka abana kwi-press conference, wazobhreka abana yena wenze into engazange yenziwa kwathini ebhreka. Hayi fine, uthi akokokubhreka kwakhe kwaqhushumba ucupcake ePretoria. Wathi kanjani qhushumba ucupcake, thoko qhushumba ucupcake kanti ilizwe lonke lizawuqhushumba ke bantasi. Kanti ilizwe lonke lizawuqhushumba, kuqala kwaqhushumba iVenezuela yona itself bantase. Athe bova laa nto ithethwa ngecupcake bathi yho ipresident yase-South Africa ingathi ipresident yase-South Africa ingathi ayikhamisanga. Yaba hayi kwathiwa hayi ezi zaseVenezuela zabiza imeeting kwathiwa guys masikhe sidibaneni mani, sikhe sidibaneni. Badibana ke kwi-White House yapha okanye sithi intoni yapha, masithi i-Red House. Badibana ke kwi-Red House yapha eVenezuela ke bona ke as abantu be-administration yapha. Kwadityanwa kwathiwa fondini kutsho ke ngoku kulo sisi caba u-deputy president kwathiwa yeyi wena in the absence of i-president yalapho kule country i-president nguwe, so ke sisithatha isikhundla ube yi-president. Yava wafunga wathi uzawuba yi-president la sisi, wafunga wathi hayi ndizawuba yi-president kwathini yeyi yavakala umdumo ePretoria kwathiwa tshintixo wathinta abafazi wathinta imbokotho. Kuthiwa laa nto ithwe ingeniswe kubupresident namhlanje yabisithi ndicela nindibhukhele iflight for namhlanje. Kwathi uyaphi? Wathi apho ndiyakhona kuseRussia. Yho kwathiwa hayibo njani? Wathi apho ndiyakhona kuseRussia because oyena mntu uzawukwazi undiprotecta kule nto useRussia. Ava kuthiwa wafonela noCupcake wathi kuCupcake ndizokolo kuqala wathi Cupcake mntase uzawube uyadlalisa because awalapha amajoni namapolisa nemikhaba iyapha eRussia. Yava kuthiwa hayi la sisinyani wayeRussia. Waqala wabiza i-press conference bantasa, waqala wabiza i-press conference wathi ilentoza iVenezuela is not without a president. Yes, i-president bayithathile but iVenezuela is not without a president because yena la sisi ngoku nguye i-president and uDonald Trump angacimbi fanele uba uzawudlalela phezu kwentloko yakhe. Kuthiwa sathwa kanti uyalenda eRussia. So kuthiwa wathi wolendisha tyulukudu eRussia wabuPutin emlindile ke sana wathi hayi kudala ndikulindile sendifowunele nguCupcake watsho ba uyeza. Ngava watsho ba uyeza. But ke ngoku yonke lento kuzafuneka bethunani size ngestrategy because leka siyi-understand into yobana apha sidilishana neGaza and leli yalibotshelelwayo latatoneno lwezi-orange. So into emasiyenzeni masingangxameni ngoku-actor. Into emasiyenzeni thina masisend warning tulatatونeno lwezi-orange sithi yemfethu phuma kwezokona because iza kuxaka lento iqalayo. Ngava hayi nyani kwavunyelwana kwazivunyelwana kwathiwa hayi mayisend imessage kwathini ngoku Cupcake yena ume ngento yobana makudityanwe and ke ngoku after kudityenwe ke ngoku kulo meeting leyo kuzafuneka lo lwezi-orange kubekho ii-consequences aye azifumane ngayo yonke lento ayenzileyo because sisigezo. You understand? So kwathiwa wathi ke ngoku uPutin into yobana masiqale simwonisheni guys simxeleleni uba makaphume kwezokona. Yasendwa nyani warning waxelelwa kwathiwa yemfethu le nto ucimba uyayiqala awuzuyifeza. Le nto ucimba uyayiqala awuzuyifeza nothi ndisaphila. Kutsho ukuthi ke ngoku wathi nothi ndisaphila ndiseyi-president yale country. Kuthiwa kanti yatsho nasePretoria ke ngoku caba noCupcake uyatsho qha ke ucaba utsho ngesivenda ba yabo andiyazi ke ndiyazitsho nje kanjani ngesivenda but yabo awuzuyifeza lento iqalayo. You understand? Yafika imessage ke ngoku kuTrump wabe exelelwa elageza lithi mabenze naloo nto beza nayo. Elageza lithi mabenze loo nto bacimba bangayenza. Ndixelele mna iChina phofu yona ithi mna ndilinde gazi nithi action kum. iChina niyabazi kuthiwa bazitelile already bombs zabo phaya eChina. Kuthiwa akugrenade akubomba zonke zisteliwe kulindwe nje bakutsalwe laa nto iphoswe. Xelela ke maki i-drone kuthiwa sezisithi emoyeni zilindwe nje kuthiwe start ziye bulala abantu. Ndimxelele ke mna ke sikulo way ke bantasa. So deep injalo but on a serious note like it is very deep. So yonke lento ndithetha yenzekile bantase. Usisi lo deputy she is the president now wase Venezuela use-Russia. So kuplane into enjalo ke thina masiminxele into yobana uTrump kweso strategy sakhe angafuni uqala ngapha kuthi makaqale Venezuela angafuni uqala ngapha. Bantase ingathi ndizawufuna isiza ezilalini ndibe noronta wam phaa ndihlale phaa because
يا أبا عبد الله إني ولي لمن والاكم ولي لنائب الإمام عليه السلام وللمرجعية ولدولة الإسلام وللمقاومة ولسيد المقاومة وللشهداء والجرحى ولكل شعب مجاهد يدافع عن دين الله ودين رسول الله. يا أبا عبد الله إني عدو لمن عاداكم، عدو للاستكبار والمستكبرين، لأمريكا الشيطان الأكبر ولجرثومة الفساد.
It happened, and then Iran fired back. Today, February 28th, 2026, the United States of America and Israel launched a massive joint military attack on Iran. And within hours, Iran launched about a dozen ballistic missiles directly at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, the largest American military installation in the entire Middle East. The war is not coming. The war is here. Missiles are in the air. Smoke is rising over Tehran, Isfahan, Qom, Loristan, Karaj, Kermanshah, and Tabriz. Sirens are blaring across Israel. And Donald Trump posted an 8-minute video on Truth Social at 2:30 in the morning Washington time and said, a short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Then he said something even more specific. He said, we are going to destroy their missiles and raze their missile industry to the ground. We are going to annihilate their navy. This is not a warning. This is not a threat. This is a statement of active military operations happening right now. And in this video, I am going to tell you everything that has been confirmed, who is hitting what Iran hit back, what comes next, and what all of this means for your life, even if you are 10,000 miles from the Persian Gulf. Let me start with the attack itself, because the facts matter. The operation was announced by Israel first. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz made the public announcement as thick smoke was already rising over downtown Tehran. He called it a preemptive strike to remove threats to the state of Israel. An Israeli spokesperson added the words that every person watching any news channel right now needs to understand. The spokesperson said that as a result of this strike, a missile and UAV attack against the state of Israel and its civilian population is expected in the immediate time frame. Israel declared this was coming. They announced the attack and immediately declared a nationwide state of emergency in the same breath. Israeli hospitals began moving patients and surgeries into underground facilities. Air raid sirens went off across the entire country, and Israel closed its airspace. The American confirmation came through 2 channels simultaneously. 2 U.S. officials confirmed to CNN that the U.S. is also carrying out attacks on Iran, describing it as not a small strike. A U.S. official separately confirmed to Reuters that American strikes in Iran are being carried out by air and by sea. And then Trump himself appeared on video. In an 8-minute message, he explained his reasoning in language that leaves no room for diplomatic interpretation. He said, for 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted, "Death to America," and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder. He said Iran had been attempting to rebuild their nuclear program and developing long-range missiles that can now threaten U.S. troops overseas and could soon reach the American homeland. He said the operation is massive and ongoing, and he listed specifically what the U.S. military intends to destroy: their missiles, their missile industry, their navy. That is the target list from the President of the United States himself. The operation has 2 names, which tells you something about the coordination between the 2 militaries. Israel's Prime Minister office announced the Israeli operation is called Roaring Lion. The joint operation involving both American and Israeli forces is called Operation Shield of Judah. Both names confirm this was planned as a coordinated campaign, not a simultaneous coincidence of two countries independently deciding to bomb Iran on the same morning. An Israeli security official told Reuters that the operation was planned for months, and its timing was set several weeks ago. Let that land for a moment. While Witkoff and Kushner were sitting in Geneva on Thursday exchanging messages through the Omani mediator, while diplomats were talking about Vienna technical talks and fourth rounds of negotiations, the decision to launch this attack had already been finalized weeks earlier. The talks were genuine, but the military timeline was already locked. Now let me tell you what was hit, because the target list goes beyond anything in the June 2025 12-day war. Strikes have been confirmed in 7 Iranian cities simultaneously: Tehran, Isfahan, Qom, Loristan, Karaj, Kermanshah, and Tabriz. In Tehran specifically, the first and most significant strike happened near the offices of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Iranian state television acknowledged the explosion near his offices. An Iranian official confirmed to Reuters that several ministries in the southern part of the capital were targeted. The IRGC intelligence headquarters was struck. The presidential building complex was hit. Fars news agency reported at least 7 missiles struck the Republic area of Tehran. Missiles struck University Street and the Jamhuri area. Iran's Civil Aviation Authority announced the airspace of the entire country is closed until further notice. Iraq closed its airspace immediately after. Cell phone service was cut in eastern and western sections of Tehran. And Khamenei, the 86-year-old supreme leader who has been the face of the Islamic Republic since 1989, he had not been seen publicly in days before today's attack. An Iranian official confirmed to Reuters that Khamenei is not in Tehran. He has been transferred to a secure location. Trump knew where he was. Earlier this week, Trump himself said publicly that the U.S. knew where Khamenei was hiding and called him an easy target. Whether this operation includes a direct attempt to remove Khamenei is not confirmed yet, but the first strikes near his offices suggest that the regime's leadership structure is explicitly on the target list. Here is the development that changes everything about how this war escalates. Within hours of the American and Israeli strikes beginning, Iran retaliated. Iran fired about a dozen short and medium-range ballistic missiles at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. This is the largest U.S. military installation in the entire Middle East. It is the command and control hub for U.S. air operations across the region. Tens of thousands of American military personnel are based there and at surrounding facilities. Iran has struck this exact base before. During the June 2025 12-day war, Iran fired missiles at Al Udeid and caused damage, but no American deaths, because early warning systems gave enough time to respond. But experts who analyzed that strike, including researchers at Stars and Stripes, noted that Iran telegraphed that attack in advance. This time, experts had been warning publicly that Iran would take the gloves off, that it would not give warnings this time. Iranian officials had signaled that the regime has greater incentive than ever before to impose maximum costs rather than symbolic costs. The Jinsa Institute published an analysis just days ago that explained exactly why this time is different from June 2025. Their report stated that Iran has much sharper urgency than ever before to execute large bolt-from-the-blue attacks. They wrote that with their backs to the wall and no other leverage with which to demand de-escalation, Iranian leaders have greater incentive to dispense with limited and telegraphed strikes and instead impose maximum costs on the United States, Israel, and Arab nations. Those words were written as a prediction. They are now happening. An Iranian member of parliament posted on social media as the strikes were beginning. His words were these: "We warned you. Now you have started down a path whose end is no longer in your control." That is not a diplomat speaking. That is an elected member of a government under active bombardment saying that what comes next cannot be stopped or contained. Let me give you the military picture as clearly as I can, because the next 72 hours are going to be defined by capabilities and geography that most people watching news coverage right now do not fully understand. Iran lost a significant portion of its longer-range missile arsenal in June 2025. Before that war, estimates put Iran's ballistic missile stockpile at roughly 2,500 missiles capable of reaching Israel. By early 2026, after the 12-day war and subsequent degradation, Iran had reconstituted that arsenal to roughly 1,000 to 1,200 missiles. Its mobile launchers went from around 480 before the June war to approximately 100 still serviceable today, according to the Alma Research Center's February 2026 assessment. Israel specifically targeted those launchers during this morning's strikes. But here is what Iran still has in abundance, and what makes the next phase of this war genuinely dangerous for the United States specifically. Iran's shorter-range ballistic missiles and cruise missiles capable of hitting U.S. bases throughout the Gulf were largely untouched by June 2025 strikes. Danny Citrinowicz from Israel's Institute for National Security Studies confirmed this. Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, the UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain. All of these countries host American military bases. All of them are within range of Iran's shorter-range arsenal. And the Jinsa report explained clearly that these short-range weapons have shorter flight times and face less robust air and missile defenses than the medium-range missiles Iran fired at Israel last year. In plain terms, missiles aimed at Al-Udeid are harder to intercept and arrive faster than missiles aimed at Tel Aviv. And Iran has several thousand of them. There is also the naval dimension. Trump specifically said the U.S. operation will annihilate Iran's navy. Iran's navy in the Persian Gulf includes small, fast attack boats, submarines, underwater drones, anti-ship missiles, and mining capabilities. The U.S. has 2 carrier strike groups in the region right now. The USS Abraham Lincoln is in the Arabian Sea. The USS Gerald R. Ford, which left Crete just 2 days ago, is positioned off the coast of Israel. Those are the most powerful surface ships in the history of naval warfare. But they are also, as one military analyst put it, a target-rich environment inside the confined geography of the Persian Gulf. Iran has anti-ship missiles specifically designed for that geography. This is not a conflict where American naval superiority is automatically safe from every threat. And then there's the Strait of Hormuz. 20 million barrels of oil move through that waterway every single day. That is 20% of all the oil consumed on Earth. Iran has the capability to threaten that strait through missiles, naval assets, and mining. Iranian officials had been saying for weeks that if attacked, the strait would be at risk. Oil markets have not yet opened to price in today's attack. But ING Bank's analysis published yesterday said that in the event of longer-term action from Washington coupled with more aggressive retaliation from Tehran, oil prices will stay elevated on supply risks. Goldman Sachs said oil goes above $100 a barrel if the strait is disrupted. We are now in the scenario both institutions were modeling as a worst case. The attack has happened. Retaliation has already begun against Al-Udeid. The conditions for Hormuz disruption now exist. Analysts at the Alma Research Center published before today's attack that Iran's retaliation options include not just missiles, but cyber attacks targeting power grids, financial institutions, and civilian systems, along with disinformation campaigns designed to heighten feelings of insecurity, exacerbate internal divisions in the United States, and undermine the legitimacy of American military action in global opinion. Iran has been running these operations for 20 years. The moment the missiles start flying, all of those tools get activated simultaneously. The war is not just being fought over Iranian cities this morning. It is being fought in oil trading terminals, in internet infrastructure, in the information space, and in the diplomatic corridors of Moscow and Beijing, where 2 governments that have deep interests in Iran's survival are watching and deciding what to do next. China buys 90% of Iran's oil exports. Russia has provided Iran with advanced military technology and has a deep mutual dependency relationship with Tehran. Both governments have economic and strategic interests in Iran not being destroyed. Neither will send troops. But both have tools that can complicate America's position. Russia could accelerate weapon transfers to Iran's proxies. China could use its economic leverage with Gulf states to apply pressure. And both will be watching the retaliation at Al-Udeid to see how the United States responds to American casualties. Because if American service members are killed in Iranian missile strikes on Qatar, the domestic political pressure on Trump to escalate further becomes enormous. And escalation from here leads into territory that no military planner has a clean exit strategy for. Iran's proxies are the other factor that makes this conflict genuinely regional rather than bilateral. Hezbollah has been severely degraded by Israel's military campaigns in Lebanon, but it still exists and still has missiles pointed at northern Israel. The Houthis in Yemen have been attacking Red Sea shipping for over a year and have demonstrated the ability to fire missiles at Israel. Both groups will receive instructions from Tehran in the coming hours. The question is not whether they will be activated. The question is how much capability remains after 2 years of Israeli strikes to make that activation meaningful. Here is where things stand right now at this hour. American and Israeli strikes are ongoing across 7 Iranian cities. Iran has already retaliated with ballistic missiles against Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Iran's entire airspace is closed. Iraq's airspace is closed. Khamenei is in a secure location outside Tehran. Trump has described a massive and ongoing operation targeting Iranian missiles, missile production, and the Iranian Navy. Israel has declared a nationwide state of emergency. Hospitals are operating underground. U.S. troops at bases across the Gulf are now in direct danger from Iranian shorter-range missiles. Oil markets have not priced in any of this yet, and the 4-day initial phase of the operation, according to Israeli sources, has just barely begun. This is the most consequential moment in the Middle East since the 2003 invasion of Iraq, maybe since the Gulf War of 1991. The decisions being made in the next 72 hours by Trump, by Iran's military commanders, by Israel, and by the governments of Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and every other Gulf state that is now caught between an American ally bombing its neighbor and an Iranian adversary with short-range missiles pointed at their territory. Those decisions will determine whether this is a devastating but bounded military campaign or the opening chapter of something much larger and much harder to stop. Whatever you thought you knew about the Middle East before today, the map has changed. Subscribe right now and turn on the notification bell, because this channel is going to be the place that tells you what happens next as it happens, what the retaliation against Al Udeid means for oil prices, what Iran's next missile salvo will look like, whether Hormuz gets threatened, and whether the United States is heading toward a short campaign or a long war. Subscribe. Drop a comment right now. Do you think this ends in days or drags on for months? Tell me what you think. I will see you in the next update. This is the biggest story of our time, and it is just beginning.
Over the past 36 hours, the United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury, one of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. Nobody's seen anything like it. We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now it was announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building, all in a matter of literally minutes. Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries. Last night, all over Iran, the voices of the Iranian people could be heard cheering and celebrating in the streets when his death was announced. The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity. They're calling by the thousands. Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have very strong objectives. They could have done something 2 weeks ago, but they just couldn't get there. Earlier today, CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible where that won't be the case. But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization. They have waged war against civilization itself. Our resolve, and likewise that of Israel, has never been stronger. America is now, again, the richest, most powerful nation in the world by far. But the only reason we enjoy the quality of life that we do and the freedom and security is we have done things that others are unable to do. But it's because of warriors who are willing to lay down their lives to do battle with our enemies. And they do battle better than anybody. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be a dire threat to every American. We cannot allow a nation that raises terrorist armies to possess such weapons that would allow them to extort the world to their evil will. Not going to let it happen. We're not happening to us, and we're not going to let it happen to others. The United States has the strongest military the world has ever seen. I rebuilt our military in my first term. There's never been a military like we possess. And frankly, there's nobody even close, but we are now using that military for good. We want to have it for good purpose. We're undertaking this massive operation not merely to ensure security for our own time and place, but for our children and their children, just as our ancestors have done for us many, many years ago. This is the duty and the burden of a free people. These actions are right and they are necessary to ensure that Americans will never have to face a radical, bloodthirsty terrorist regime armed with nuclear weapons and lots of threats. For almost 50 years, these wicked extremists have been attacking the United States while chanting the slogan, "Death to America" or "Death to Israel" or both. They are the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. We are the world's greatest and most powerful nation, so we can do something about what they do. These intolerable threats will not continue any longer. I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, and police to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death. It will be certain death. Won't be pretty. I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom to seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America is with you. I made a promise to you, and I fulfilled that promise. The rest will be up to you, but we'll be there to help. Thank you. God bless you to our incredible warriors, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Iran has been waiting for this opportunity to deal with Israel, and this opportunity came when they were very much prepared. To be sincere with you, Israel picked a very wrong opponent. Iran drew the line and was waiting, patiently waiting for the right time for Israel to strike. Now let me tell you, Iran released reports that every single weapon they have used on Israel has been replaced. This is to let you know the level of technology they have in Iran. That every single missile which they have used on Israel recently is among their oldest weapons, which have been replaced with the recent and modern and very much efficient ones. We all know the neighboring countries in Israel and what Israel have been doing to them all this while. Iran also know what Hezbollah and Gaza is passing through in the hands of Israeli military. Setting everywhere ablaze, bombing and destroying, devastating all the whole places. That is the reason why Iran has been stocking and piling weapons, waiting for this day to come.
Trump just pulled off what looks like the biggest military win in decades. He killed Iran's supreme leader, destroyed their nuclear sites, wiped out their entire navy in a single night. Sounds like a total victory, but here's what nobody's telling you. Iran didn't surrender. They closed the Strait of Hormuz, the choke point that controls 20% of the world's oil supply, completely shut. Iran said any ship that tries to pass will be set on fire. The world's two biggest shipping companies stopped all transits immediately. Oil prices spiked 7% overnight. Qatar's LNG terminal, the largest on the planet, went dark after Iranian missiles hit it. The Dow dropped over 1,000 points. Your gas prices are already moving. Then the counterstrikes came. The U.S. Embassy in Riyadh hit by a drone. American bases across the Middle East under fire. Thousands of Americans stranded with no evacuation plan. When pressed, Trump said, "It happened very quickly." Britain said they had no part in this. France called it a violation of international law. Russia and China are backing Iran. An Iranian cleric declared holy war. Trump killed Khamenei. He destroyed their nukes and their navy, but Iran cut off the world's oil. American embassies are burning, allies are walking away, and Congress was never asked. This didn't end the threat, it started a war, and nobody has a plan for what
Look how many is coming down. Oh my God. What the fuck? Bro, it's like Independence Day out. Oh shit. What? Whoa. Ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. Whoa. What the fuck, bro?
Serangan bertubi-tubi rudal Iran ke Israel porak-porandakan infrastruktur strategis Israel di Tel Aviv. Perdana Menteri Israel Benjamin Netanyahu mengatakan bahwa negaranya jadi korban kebrutalan rudal Iran. Israel menyelang lebih dulu, lalu merasa menjadi korban belakangan. Apakah ini taktik Israel mencari simpati dunia?
Iran has threatened the US with a firm and immediate response if Donald Trump bombs the Islamic State over the breakdown of nuclear deal talks. The Iranian Foreign Ministry said it sent the warning after Trump vowed to bomb Iran like never before if the regime didn't strike up a new nuclear deal. The warning
They know Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. That's the only reason they're comfortable attacking them. Because they know Iran cannot attack back with nuclear weaponry. And they arrogantly thought their Iron Dome was going to protect them. But it literally collapsed within 24 hours. A lot of people may have seen earlier videos where a whole bunch of Iran's weapons were being intercepted by the Iron Dome. The Iron Dome, by the way, actually shoots a missile up to intercept and blow up other missiles. But what they didn't get is that Iran was intentionally sending old missiles to wear out, to use up the defense. And once they felt like they had sufficiently worn down the defenses of the Iron Dome, then they started unleashing the heavy-duty stuff. And Iran has hypersonic missiles. And I don't know if you've seen one of those on video. It is insane how fast they come in. You're not getting out of the way of a hypersonic missile. You may be able to see some other type of missile up in the air, heading your way, you run for the hills. You're not running from a hypersonic missile. As fast as you see it, it's there. It travels faster than the speed of sound. So it hits you before you even hear it coming. They've also unleashed a new type of weaponry that we've never even seen before. Hey Siri, how many missiles does Iran have? It's gonna be in the thousands. 3,000 ballistic missiles. They're gonna level Israel like a parking lot.
Look at that. Look at that. What is that? Free Palestine!
Okay, 100% Tom Cruise is in that jet.
Why are you getting arrested?
Free Palestine, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, Palestine will be free.
And what
Israel is the reason for this war. America does not want to fight this war for Israel.
Let's go. Come on, let's go.
America does not want to send its sons and daughters to war for Israel. Your inability to name that shows your exemptness as leaders. Out. This is wrong. Stop. And nobody wants to fight for Israel.
A reminder to all our
Commandant, please stand up as a Marine and stand up for America. Out. No one wants to fight for Israel.
For the first time, President Donald Trump took questions about his reasoning for going to war with Iran.
But Ukraine has
in the Oval Office, the U.S. president says he just had a feeling that Iran was going to strike, but denies he was pulled into this war by Israel.
I might have forced their hand. You see, we were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first.
Contradicting his own Secretary of State, Marco Rubio.
We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces.
The president who promised no more wars portrays this one as necessary to eliminate Iran's nuclear threat once and for all, destroying their naval and missile capabilities. And Trump says they knocked out Iran's radar defenses, hitting 1,700 targets so far.
We're hitting them very hard, and the big scale hitting goes now. They no longer have air protection. They no longer have any detection facilities at all left, and so they're gonna be in for a lot of hurt.
Iran has fired a missile at Israel that has shocked the entire world. According to confirmed reports, it was Iran's Fatah hypersonic missile,
a weapon capable of flying at an incredible speed of Mach 15. That's 15 times faster than the speed of sound. Since last night, Iran has launched several such missiles directly targeting Israeli territory. At least 6 important sites have been struck, including military infrastructure and high security zones. The attacks have caused significant damage, and emergency sirens have been heard across major cities. For a long time, many global experts question Iran.